days, it's been like a great suspense novel. More twists and turns. What are we going to see tonight? Here we go. Ime Udoka's team has bounced back. The Celtic defense has been just superb. Boston Celtics mauling the Miami Heat. A wire-to-wire victory there in Game 4.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Hi, Kendrick Perkins. You're feeling
What's up,
good
Molly?
today? Still in Boston? Just getting all those good, positive vibes. Your boys tying things up. Stephen A. making the trek back. And JJ 2 days in a row.
I'm here.
Aren't we
Kendrick
lucky?
Perkins, little advice before the show begins. Stop looking down at your damn
Oh,
television
my
screen and
goodness.
look
Leave
straight
us
at us.
alone.
We see you. You don't have to see us all the time. We see you. Don't look down.
Hold on.
Look straight.
Perk, just ignore him. Excuse me, are you running a master class on how people should dress, how they should act on TV? What's happening
I
here?
just got off the plane, so I have excuses.
Okay,
I have
Oprah.
excuses.
Okay.
Please.
I have excuses. Is that a turtleneck you wearing in about 70-degree weather? I'm just wondering.
No, it's not. It's just,
just
it's
messes
that
with the
dark
beard.
chocolate. You just can't see it. It's the
I feel you
beard,
on that.
too.
I feel you on that.
Yeah,
Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Mr. Chocolate.
How many times are you going to tell me to let's go? It almost makes me not want to start the show because you're telling me what to do. Let's go. Celtics came hot out of the gate. The urgency was there, opening the game with an 18-1 run. The C's held Miami starters a 7 for 36 shooting and cruised to a 102-82 Game 4 win to even the series. It led wire to wire 2 days after Miami had done the same in a Game 3 triumph. Coach Udoka knew what was at stake.
Understand what's on the table. This is a 3-game series now, and can't always just flip the mindset when we come off a loss and get a little desperate. And the guys talked about that in the locker room now. We've obviously been here before to string some games together and come out with the right mindset like we did tonight. Obviously, it was apparent the difference. We understand we don't want to go down 3-1, and so guys came out with that physicality.
Obviously, some injuries, Stephen A. But tell me this: what message did the Celtics send with that blowout?
Well, to me, they sent the message that they're the team to beat within the Eastern Conference, that the Miami Heat don't have enough. They've got to be fully loaded, 100% healthy to have a chance in this series. I still see this going 7 games. I think that the Boston Celtics ultimately escape with this series in the 7th game win in Miami. I think both teams will protect their home court over the next 2 games. But Miami doesn't appear to have enough. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. Miami is the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Their culture, their coach, their executive of basketball operations, Pat Riley, the winner within himself. This is a first-class organization from top to bottom. Last night, their starters put forth one of the most pathetic performances we've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting 5 for the Miami Heat scored 18 points. I need people to understand the magnitude of what I just said. The starting 5 of a #1 seed in the Eastern Conference in the Eastern Conference Finals combined for 18 points. That's just pathetic. Victor Oladipo, your 7th man, coming off the bench to score more than the entire starting 5. Pathetic displays of offensive basketball we may have ever seen. That's no excuse for it. Obviously, that's not going to happen again because that's an all-time low. That's an all-time low light. Okay, not a highlight, a low light. But in the end, what it comes down to is that it crystallizes this. That's clearly an aberration. It's not going to happen again to Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, and these boys, PJ Tucker and them. It's not going to happen again. But in the end, it says a lot about what they're lacking overall. And I think that, to me, when you ask the question about what do we learn from the Celtics with this blowout win, is that the Celtics have a lot more firepower than the Miami Heat. All things need to be operating on a good cylinder in order for the Miami Heat to win this series. That's what I took.
Talk to me.
See, that's the thing that gets on when I come on here that makes my skin crawl when it comes down to Stephen A. The reason that the starters only had 18 points was because of the beautiful basketball on the defensive end that the Celtics displayed. And I come on here time and time again telling you the length, the athleticism, the versatility that they have. No other team in the NBA has that. They able to switch 1 through 5. They got great depth. You got great Grant Williams coming in off the bench, who's becoming the ultimate 3-and-D guy. And guess what? They clamped the Miami Heat up last night without their defensive player of the year. Think about this for a second. And I told JJ this early this morning. The Boston Celtics shot 39% from the field, 23% from 3, and won by 20. Jaylen Brown was 5 for 20 from the field, and they won by 20. You know why? Because Ime Udoka, who is a former champion, knows that in order to win a championship, you have to be great on the defensive side of things. Offense can win you games, but the defense is going to win you championships. And again, I repeat, the Boston Celtics have a championship caliber defense, and that's what happened to the Miami Heat last night. And that's the message that they sent not only to the Heat, but the rest of the league, including the Golden State Warriors.
Perk, I think this is a good start of the show for you and I, because we just spent the last 2 hours arguing with each other on Get Up. So I'm glad that I can agree with you on this point. The biggest takeaway for me is that the Boston Celtics can win with their defense. They don't need to play great offensively to beat an elite team. They shot under 40% from the field. They struggled from the three-point line. The biggest difference offensively, if we're going to be honest, between Game 3 and Game 4 was the turnovers. They cut them down by basically 2/3. So that was key. To your point about depth, I think we got a great glimpse into who Robert Williams is on the basketball court, both on the defensive end, as a rebounder, as a shot blocker, as a rim presence, but also offensively. Multiple plays where he's making plays at the rim as a vertical lob threat, offensive rebound putbacks. And if we look at the Celtics as a potential NBA champion, going against the Golden State Warriors, the Warriors right now have the best offensive rating of any team left in the playoffs. During the playoffs, they were 18th in the regular season, but during the playoffs, they are the best offensive team left playing. They are going to have to guard. They are going to have to guard the Golden State Warriors in order to win an NBA championship. And nights like last night show just how capable that defense is.
You know, it's interesting that you both agree. I'm so touched by it. I mean, the fact that JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins, agree with one another. It just touches my gut heart. Okay, let me get that out the way first, because it's important for the audience to know, my God, we should be so touched that y'all agree with one another. Let me ask you this question, Kendrick Perkins. The Celtics have had an elite defense pretty much since the new year has arrived, correct? They've been one of the top, if not the top defense in the postseason, correct?
Yes.
We've seen the Pistons have a great defense. We've seen the New York Knicks, the rugged New York Knicks when they were relevant in the 90s, have an elite defense. We've seen the Chicago Bulls amp it up and had an elite defense. Tell me when's the last time you saw a starting five register 18 points? A starting five, 18 points. When?
It's actually never happened. That's the fewest points ever for a starting five since they started tracking this in 1970.
1970.
Exactly.
See, I knew that, JJ Redick. I asked a rhetorical question. I asked a rhetorical question, okay? I asked a rhetorical question. Why did I ask that question? Because Kendrick Perkins wants to sit here and talk about their defense. Of course their defense is elite. We knew that coming into the postseason. It doesn't negate the fact that they lost 2 games prior to Game 4, and at no time since 1970, Kendrick Perkins, in case you don't know, that's 52 years, my brother. I know you're young. The bottom line is 52 years. In 52 years since the stat was given out, no starting five has ever scored less. 18 points for all 5 starters combined? There's no excuse for that. You can point to the Boston Celtics defense all you want to, and I know their defense is big time. But that speaks to the anemic play of the Miami Heat more than this.
I have a question, Kendrick. How much did they miss Tyler Hero?
No, actually, Boston missed Tyler Hero because when Tyler Hero was playing, he was with Boston. He was with us. That's what we used to scream when another opponent was playing like trash. He with us. Listen,
actually, they still scream that. They still scream that today to some people. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I know. But here's the thing. Molly, JJ, and Stephen A., here's the thing I want, a little detailed thing that I want to point out to you guys.
Okay.
Robert Williams returning last night allowed Al Horford to get up into Bam Adebayo. It allowed him to take away his comfort zone. It allowed him to pressure up on him. You know why? Because for the simple fact that if he got by Big Al, if he was capable of doing it, he knew that the Time Lord, Robert Williams, was somewhere back there lurking. Robert Williams allowed Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Grant Williams to pressure up on Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, run them off the three-point line, and now they're looking over their shoulder wondering where this guy that's jumping off a pogo stick is coming out of nowhere. And so, Stephen A., when I understand that, but look, P.J. Tucker had 17 points in Game 3. They made an emphasis to close out on him at the three-point line, make him a driver, and when he was driving to the paint, you had Robert Williams jumping above the rim and altering his floaters and everything else where he couldn't even see the basket. This is what I'm telling you about elite defense. These are the little things that matter, that show up and have an effect when you have a guy like Robert Williams return to a lineup that already have great depth at the wing and power forward position defensively.
Okay.
To that point, I just want to say, potentially one adjustment for the Miami Heat. Robert Williams started on P.J. Tucker, guarded him a lot of the game as his primary defender. If he's going to roam, you've got to be able to set up plays, sets, environments where you can get Robert Williams in the paint and then kick it out to P.J. Tucker for three.